On this route, starting just outside the test center, we'll focus on planning ahead and trying to keep to a minimum the number of times the car comes to a stop. Uphill giveaway junction, so slow to a crawl a meter before the giveaway line if the view isn't great, so you can keep the car steady with clutch control. It's going to be clear after this car, so we'll keep creeping forward. On the driving test you will be rated on your eco-safe driving. Whilst this doesn't ultimately have any effect on the test result, the benefits of driving as efficiently as possible are huge. The main benefits are less strain on the brakes and engine, and the other main one being fuel efficiency and cost. How can we do this? Well, anticipating hazards and situations that could cause us to slow or stop as early as possible would be the main thing, so that we only arrive at the hazard or situation after it's cleared. This will also mean we reduce risk and are a much safer driver too. Again, holding back, the car ahead should move off in a couple of seconds. So we're just inching forward using mainly the clutch when we want to accelerate wheel at gas. And we'll have a gap to go shortly, so no need to rush to the giveaway line just to have to stop. Looking well ahead for anything that could slow us down, such as whether the pedestrian crossing lights will likely change or not, and whether the traffic ahead of us is flowing or starting to queue. If we leave space around our car, particularly ahead of us, we'll have more room to gradually slow for hazards or traffic ahead, whereas if we followed close, we'll likely have to brake heavier and perhaps unnecessarily stop. Notice how close some others are following each other compared to us. Remember, collisions with other vehicles only happen when the space between us runs out, so we may as well leave plenty of room to others where possible. Car ahead is signaling to turn right, and it may have to wait, so we'll back off. It should be out the way after the lorry passes, so we can be on our way again. Roundabout coming up, and there's a queue. Let's back off so we don't catch the back of the queue too quickly, giving them a chance to move off before we get there. There's no traffic from the road opposite looking like they are going to come round the roundabout, and there's no one waiting to the right. We can go. There's a queue of traffic ahead. Let's keep some distance to the car in front. The traffic is still flowing, just slowly, so doesn't look like we are going to have to stop if we keep a bit of distance. Ahead, the lights are red, changing to green, so we might be able to continue. Now the lights are changing to red, looks like we'll get stuck for a while. If there wasn't any traffic behind, we could go slow, but we don't want to hold up those going ahead, and our lights will stay red for a long time anyway. Meeting traffic at the parked cars look like they'll be the main cause of slowing or stopping on this road. We can see far enough ahead to see no one's coming, so we'll go through the middle, without having to reduce speed. We have obstructions on our side, and a white learner car coming, so we'll just reduce speed slightly until they are through. No one else coming, it's clear. Already off the gas for the end of the road. Another uphill giveaway, so reduce speed early enough to come off the brake, if any, and do clutch control. It's clear both sides, so we'll continue without stopping. It's much easier to get the car moving again if you keep some momentum, as opposed to stopping completely, especially when facing uphill. More parked cars, but we should be able to get through as long as there are no big vehicles coming toward us. Ready though to smoothly move into a gap on the left if needed. Glancing ahead to see if it's clear to move around the bus, and at the bus to see if it moves off. Their brake lights come on, but we had already started to move out, and then there was a delay before they signaled right, so it looked like they were going to stay put until we were through. At the roundabout, we see it's clear to the right. Car with headlights in the distance, and parked cars on both sides. No one using the zebra crossing. Ready to give way, but the car ahead looks like they are generously giving way. You can tell by their slow speed and their positioning, staying on their side of the road. The view at this junction is very open. We can see already there's no one to the right. Check a couple more times though, to be sure. Obstruction will reduce our speed slightly for the red car to come through, then it's clear after. More obstructions, and a car coming toward us. We're already slowing down. They're taking their time to come through. Then, eventually they decide to indicate to let us know they are parking. Another car coming, ready to move into the gap on the left, but they slow for us, so we'll go through. Roundabout, giving way to the right only. We have a good view, looks clear. No one using the crossing. There's a temporary traffic light ahead, looks like it will be on red a while longer. All the traffic ahead seems to be braking. It's okay though, we have enough distance to the car ahead to be untroubled. Give them enough time and room to make their turn. The pedestrians should be controlled by their own lights at the zebra crossing. This is because the temporary roadworks are covering the crossing. This one is uncontrolled, but it's clear. Notice how much more we can see as we let the Mini get further ahead. That's important for what's coming up, as there are obstructions on the crest of the hill. Even though the parked cars are on the other side of the road, oncoming traffic might already be committed as they can't see us coming from the other side of the hill. So, ready to give way before the first parked car, until we can see over. Which is now, but the oncoming traffic has room to pull in for us. We can't get past the white van, so we invite them to move through by holding back. We see it's clear to move out. We delay increasing our speed further, until the oncoming traffic clears their obstruction. Not much to worry about in terms of slowing down, as far as we can see, except the silver car is a little slow to build up speed, so we ease off, and keep our distance. Because we keep our distance, we don't even need to brake for them turning off. It's not a very wide road, especially as the edges either side are rough with potholes, so we need to go slow enough to make room for oncoming traffic if we meet any. Hard to initially see where this right turn is, but this signpost is a bit of a clue. It's a wide road, but don't cut the corner, the center line isn't until way over here. Just a bit slower through the bends, you never know what could be round them. Obstruction, ready to stop until we can see round the bend, which is now. Again, 60 isn't appropriate with the narrow road and how little we can see round the bends, the road and weather conditions too. We have to be slow enough round the bends to deal with meeting any traffic. There's a lot of slippery looking mud on the left edge of the road, so we slow right down as we pass the moped. The give way sign says it's in 50 yards, so a bit further. Emerging onto a main road, slow enough to look properly both sides, ready to stop, although it is clear. Unlikely there'll be obstructions on a main road like this, but keep scanning ahead to make sure. Good view at the roundabout, we see already it's clear, but couple more looks to make sure it stays that way. Looks like the lights will stay green, no one pressing the button. Meeting traffic situation ahead, we can see round the corner already though. Could likely be asked to parallel park along here. Obstruction, and a vehicle coming. No one followed us into the corner, so we'll slow immediately. A bit of an extreme example, but we left enough room to the trailer initially to not quite have to stop. Lorry in the distance coming toward us, we could already plan to see where we could move over. We'll go a bit further though. This seems like a nice gap to hold back in, and no one should be caught out by us keeping the speed relatively low, as there's no one following us. Give way junction, and there are cars turning in, so we'll slow and give them time to clear off. Now it looks clear both sides. That worked out well. Traffic lights at a junction, they could change at any time. We'll have to stop again, like the other two. That was pretty much unavoidable. No traffic ahead to slow us, and no pedestrians pressing the button at the crossing. Keep an eye on this car. It's signaling and positioning to come round the roundabout to block the vehicles on the right at the same time as we arrive, so we should be thinking that we might be able to continue, as it's unlikely to do a U-turn, and it worked out exactly as predicted. No vehicles on the right about to come anywhere near us. Let's go. Almost back at the test center. Was that fewer stops than you thought there would be? Remember, good anticipation and planning helps us keep space around our car, reducing risk. Keeping the car's momentum going where possible, along with smooth acceleration and deceleration, is great for fuel economy and car maintenance. We won't go into the test center and interrupt other learners finishing their wheel tests. So that's the end of the route. Read the description for more tips about how to put into practice this style of driving.